Hey guys,
Hello, once again, once again.
we are back. We are back. It's still spinning a little bit, so let's just keep saying hi. We're back.
Hi.
All right, we're on for sure now. All right, guys, we're back. When you rejoin us, just let us know if you can hear everybody. We had an issue with
Yeah,
the sound before.
I don't even know what I did wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did something wrong.
Maybe, man, don't blame yourself. You never know.
Ah, yeah,
All right, guys. So, I think we all were having a really important discussion. If you all want to give us a little recap of that, I could do it a recap myself. I was here battling the electricity, as we just call
electricity,
it, the current,
the
right?
current, the power. In our previous incarnation of this conversation, Jillian was explaining her background, which is race, actually, and the family history of talking about race. And I guess she's a grown up. She can tell us exactly what she said again. Yeah, so there's this idea that race is not existent and that by a certain time of people. But then there are lots of people in race that actually understand that race, how we present and how we live, affects how other people interact with us and how systems interact. And that's basically my understanding. But I was telling you so that from the time I was very young, my mother actually brought home with me. A lot of them were African American because at the time, Trinidad was kind of more with movies that we were talking about racism, we can eat here. But these were novels, and they were about racism. They were novels about the experiences of African Americans. Some of them were tough to read. I would not have been able to a book like that possibly, but my mother gave it to us. And me in particular, I was reading it for myself. She wanted us to be very, very clear about the movements is now life and the lives of people we love. And even though I didn't say this before, Lisa, that's my motivation. I love a lot of people who are affected in different ways by how they present and their history. And so the actions that I take to do with race are motivated by a fierce spirit and a refusal to accept mistreatment for people that I care about. So, Same, same. I just want to ask our viewers, can you hear now?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we have confirmation
Confirmation?
in our comments. Everyone can hear us,
Good.
so we're going really
Great.
good.
I'm really glad. And yeah, and Juliet, as a light skinned black woman, all right, it is very often people look at you and like, you're like automatically classed as other, like black enough or whatever. So I think it's very important as well to be vocal and say, look, uh, I might have access to some privilege because of the life expectancy, but the truth is, all of we black and we are all facing systemic problems. And
Well, well, you have to be a little careful with that because according to my daughter, she's like, you like this, you need to shut your mouth. Like, keep quiet. And she's right. She's
I have
right.
to refer to the young people again. I have to refer to the young people again.
Yeah,
As
I'd
I was
love to
saying that
hear
young people
what you
already
think
feeling
about
this.
what your experiences are at your age, youth.
Me? I mean, again, uh, I am semi-privileged in that I'm not, I sort of have like lighter skin than some of my other family members and whatnot. So I would say my experience is more focused to my mother. But as I say all the time, if every white person on earth just disappeared tomorrow because of the colonial era mindset that has just been drilled into everyone, generation and generation and generation and generation after, we would just reinforce it through color, right? And so, I mean, I don't know. with that what you will, but yes, there are shared struggles between lighter skin and darker skin folks, but there are very important differences in the institutional problems of the country in terms of access to a myriad of things.
Well, yeah, I have to agree with you there. I think that's a pretty clear-headed perspective. Because at the end of the day, all these things are, racism. It's founded in economics, it's founded in class, it's founded in maintaining the status quo and in the social structure. So, it's like as a Star Trek aficionado, they always explore those themes in science fiction. And I always remember the episode where the guy half was black and half was white, and they hated the others who had the black half on the wrong side and the white half on the wrong side. So it was like, it's same thing, but yours on the wrong side. So we always will find something. And I mean, at the end of the day, before Europeans expanded from Europe and do all the things that they do, they practice it on one another. The Irish, the Scottish, the Romans practice it on them. So this is a system that's been handed down and used. And in this case, we are the ones, at the bottom of the totem pole today. So it's an exciting time, it's an exciting discussion. The statue issue is a real controversial one right now, and it feels intergenerational.
Right. Well, the thing about it too, because I spend a lot of time reading about indigenous cultures, right? Groups that live in smaller settlements and looking at how they deal with outsiders. And I think that what jumps out to me again and again is that it's not just about feeling a certain way to another group. It's about how do you then utilize power to change the lives of that other group. Because people have always had suspicion towards people from other cultures and so on, because you don't know if you're sharing values, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's one thing having an issue or being concerned about an individual thing. It's another thing when it affects the school principal you get, or whether the toilets get fixed in school, or how much the taxi fare costs, or whether you have P cars versus H cars
Mm-hmm.
versus maxis. I mean, every single one of those decisions has things like sexism, racism, and classism built into them. And so it's prejudice and bias is not an ism. It can be part of how an ism expresses itself,
Mm-hmm.
but the dismantling of the way power is utilized is what I am particularly interested in.
It's
And as
fascinating.
a way to work with that.
Can I use this point to ask Julia to kind of recap what she was saying about her um, decision to withdraw her products from Starlight and how like she was explaining that it wasn't the choice wasn't whether she would withdraw or not. That was a no-brainer, but it's how she would deal with it.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pass it back to her to kind of recap that because
Right. Okay, so I mean, I'm going to say it a little differently than I said it before, but basically, every week, every month, people in Trinidad and Tobago decide to remove themselves from particular situations. But removing yourself quietly and removing yourself publicly are two different things. When someone says something racist in a public forum, they have now created a new agreement. And the agreement is, I will respond to this publicly. And I accepted that invitation to respond to it publicly. If you publicly say something that's racist, then I publicly can respond to that. It's freedom of speech, freedom of action. And so my decision to do it publicly not only comes from the fact that, yeah, okay, that's the way we're playing now. I'll play like that too. That's cool. But also, silence is a tool of racism.
And people who look like me have been, I'm going to try and use kind of polite terms, but house slave behavior is something that I continually interrogate in myself because I am like the stereotype of bred to be a sellout, right? Because my white blood comes from men and my black blood comes from men and women. So I am the poster child for let's put a buffer between the oppressed and ourselves, the oppressor, by creating sellouts like me. And part of being a sellout means you don't draw attention to yourself because you squeeze in the little, as I tell people, all of us getting crumbs, but some people have a little cheesecake on their crumb, right? So by
I'm
being
loving
given a
this
bribe,
cheesecake crumbs.
I consider it bribery, right? By being given a bribe, I'm supposed to keep quiet. I'm not supposed to pay attention. I get to go to a prestige school
Yeah,
and
be
I get to
grateful
like
for what
live
you
in a
get.
particular neighborhood. I hate bribery. I hate it. I hate being given um, incentives to keep silent. So part of it is also my own personal journey of refusing to stay silent. What's the name of the show again? Given Trouble?
Given
Trouble.
trouble.
Right. And so when you think of it,
You're
that's our
taking the
legacy,
team
right?
and running with it, girl. I love it.
Yeah, you're telling the children, don't give trouble. What does that mean? Don't tell the truth.
Yes,
Don't say what you're seeing. You're
exactly.
seeing unfairness. You're seeing this person treating me like crap. You're seeing me treating them like, don't give trouble.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth. And then you won't get in trouble. If you don't
Exactly.
give trouble, you
Exactly.
wouldn't get in trouble.
Jean
Well,
Miles
I'm
style.
willing to risk it.
Thank God.
And can I now bring Pamela back in this conversation
Yeah,
because
man.
Jillian said earlier that you and your sister had a big part to play in her decision to be vocal about what she was doing. So tell me about holding your mother to account.
Yeah, if you ask my sister, it was her idea from the beginning. So my mother had no part in it. It was just completely a fault. But yeah, when what was his name? Gerald Abu came out and said, you know, the racist things that he said. I mean, it was not. There was like a 1 or 2, maybe 1 minute kind of deliberation, but it wasn't really a deliberation. It was more like everyone was like, okay, cat. I mean, you just got to take your stuff out of the store, and then yeah, did it. I guess it's super public that.
And and like I was saying earlier, young people have really been driving this. We're talking about these statues and how I was saying I was like, hey, these statues, they didn't bother nobody. And my daughter, who is closer to your age, she was like, well, why are you keeping them? There's no value in keeping these things there. They're actually damaging, and what is the purpose of having them there? Take them down, you know. And so I was saying that young people are really a driver in a lot of this, uh, are the drivers in a lot of what we're experiencing now, what we're seeing and hearing. Because Jillian, as you pointed out, young people don't want, they're not trying to be complicit. They're not trying to, a lot of our young people are just like, this is rubbish, burn it down.
Well, I think one thing that I see a lot is that
Mash it up.
being able to discern the difference between a personal interaction and a power engagement and power system. Like a lot of the young people have more diverse friends, for example, than I would have had. Guys are friends with females, males and females are friends, people are friends with people of different sexuality, people of different race, but they have less tolerance to the system. So it's interesting because personal relationships, I'm actually seeing more cross engagements, but tolerance of the system, I'm seeing less. And that's really interesting, whether that's something that will endure. Because there was more segregation in my youth. We were really in clusters. Um, but we didn't understand that the system had anything to do with it when I first started learning about power. I don't even know if I heard the word power until I was in my mid-20s.
I think it's kept really vague. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's kept so vague, so deliberately vague, in my opinion. They just gloss over things. You know, like use of force in history is just like glossed over in school. You know, they're like, yeah, Columbus came and he made friends, and now we speak Spanish. It's great. You know, it's like, oh, they leave out like all the genocide, all the
Yeah.
use of force, all of those things, all the resistance, you know, because by not
Mm-hmm.
telling that story, you leave out the story of the people who resisted, and those are heroic. Those are stories we need to hear because they tell us, well, we could do it, you know. They held
Yeah.
on by the skin of their teeth, and then they had to get off, and then they tell us these stories. And that's why the discussion about the statues is so important.
Yeah. Kwamina, what do you think about the statues?
Yeah. Okay. So my opinion on this. I mean, of course, I'm on take them down. That's the base idea. I don't see the point in them staying up, but I think it connects to a larger issue of what I think is at least driving this like younger generation's activism or whatever you want to call it, is that there's a lack of they don't feel indebted to the system that they were born into, right? In fact, it's the reverse. They feel like if this system isn't working for me, let's change it. It's what is this? This system owes me a life where I can feel secure and have whatever resources available to me, but it hasn't been, and it hasn't been working for my friends, and it hasn't been providing what they want. It's not how can I contribute to the system, it's how can the system be designed that it contributes a meaningful existence to me, that it allows me to thrive, right? So I think that's the main difference, or that's the main driver, right?
So basically, young people are not buying the chain up anymore. They're not taking the chain up that they could go to university, get a nice job, buy a nice house, get a nice car, eat your biscuit and hash them out.
Travel.
They're not taking the chain up anymore,
Yeah.
basically.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I think
feel. Sorry.
sorry, yeah, we've seen our parents, we've seen our parents, we've seen what happened. So like, you had a generation before which saw their parents kind of lifted through whatever capitalism, lifted to relative, relatively out of poverty, or relatively higher than they were before. And then you have like our parents are now hitting this kind of stagnation where they're not that much better off than they were, when they were kids, right? Just relative to everyone else, relative to just living standard. And we're like, oh, but you did everything right, so maybe something's wrong here. Maybe we need to shake this one up.
That's a great perspective, a great analysis. It's a little troubling to be seen as a broken generation.
But we are. In
We
fact,
are though,
broke
but it's tough.
and broken.
It's tough to be seen as broken, right? As the betrayed generation, where the social contract was just like, screw you, we're taking all your shit, all of it, and now you owe us too. It's tough. It's really tough. So it's
But I
good.
think
It's good
I
to
went and
dialogue.
I kind of went around a bit and started speaking to some of my parents' generation
Yeah.
and talking to them about how they feel now about what they did in Trinidad and Tobago in the 60s and 70s. And some of them are unrepentant. Like, yeah, we did nothing wrong. There's nothing we would change. And I mean, I was talking also about like environmental stuff.
They're like,
But
eat our pollution, screw you.
yeah, but I mean, I know my parents felt like they did not know.
Yeah.
And they had made decisions with kind of ignorance of consequences. And I see people in their 70s and 80s who are having that experience where all of a sudden you look back on this life and you messed up, but you didn't have information. So we have information now,
Yeah.
and we have the ability. Of course, we don't have all the information. 20
Yeah.
years from now, prominent children will be like, "Oh, you could have been like that."
No,
Look
but
at how
I
backwards
feel
you
like I
were.
feel like Common and them know what to do with the information, I didn't know what to do with the information. I remember being 14, sitting down in front of a computer with my father and my brother first computer ever come in our house, and it take us 3 hours to figure out when you move the thing on the thing, the little arrow does move on the screen. 14, I need that. So all this technology, all this information, all these ways of thinking, I feel like the younger generation have like more better computer processing brains or something, and they're just able to activate this stuff and mobilize their social networks, get people up, going, going and do things, attending things, spending the money, boycotting, redirecting the money. And I just think that once they stay on that path of reclaiming what they owed in the social contract, then I think it have hope, and I will support them all the way because they'll make mistakes and stuff. But it's exciting. It's a great time to be alive. To see this kind of possibility for change.
Can I ask Kwamina to talk a little bit about so this combination of COVID-19 pandemic and Black Lives Matter creating a movement to change. Can I ask you to talk about that? Because uh, Jillian told your parents on the show to talk about that. So really,
And about money, because I think
yeah,
money is
money.
also
I think the money might have been. Sorry. I think the money might have been what killed me out. I'm always scared to talk about Black Lives Matter, but it's not. People, yeah, sorry. But to I guess if I had to say anything on it, I would say that for people right now, there's kind of an economic reckoning in terms of things are getting refocused, right? You're realizing what are necessities, what in our society is completely, what do you need in a situation like this? And we're looking around and we're figuring out that, I mean, especially in turn as it's happening in the U.S. as well, and this is just the approach from an economic perspective. Oh, us as black people don't control any of the necessities. I can't go to my cousin because he doesn't have a supermarket because, you know, supermarkets are slow to start businesses. They require a lot of capital at the beginning, and it's very difficult for black people to access
Access,
debt
yeah.
in access debt you know any meaningful fashion on a large scale. And sorry, but so I think what's happening now is because we're having this kind of refocusing. It's allowed us to kind of look and see, okay, so this is what's been happening the whole time. It's almost like a curtain has been pulled back on our economic system, where we're like, oh, okay, so, and as well, not even just the economic system, I mean, police brutality and all of that, and, which is kind of set on by the fact that, oh, black people are being affected more by COVID than black already, right? So we're finding all these areas where we thought maybe there was some kind of equality. Maybe a virus isn't going to affect us because that's a virus. How could a viral infection that hits every human being the same still affect us more in this position? And it can. We're seeing that it literally can. And so it's bringing a lot of people. It's forcing a lot of people to come to task and say, so this thing is absolutely broken. This thing cannot necessarily be reformed, right? It's at its core, it is completely rotten, and we can't just, like, as Cornel West would say, you can't just have black faces in high places because it is so broken that the only way to fix it is to just completely get rid of it. Yeah, but the money thing is more. That's just my opinion.
I am just in shock that young people now could actually entertain the idea of dismantling things. I feel like my generation, we were fed so much fear in the 80s and the 90s when they were like building up the police forces all over the world and making them real militant and swatting them out and things. We grew up on like seeing all this violence and gangsters and all these movies. So it's really hard. I mean, I can do it, but it's hard to imagine a world where you could do things like defund the police, you know, because they're like, oh God, the criminals will come and get us, you know, this idea, this bogeyman.
Criminals working with the police.
Yeah,
What are you
because,
talking about? Yeah, the
listen,
police is for the criminals.
it's
At least
so
in Trinidad.
crazy, but it's so
And the thing is,
hardwired, you know.
yeah, there's an analysis that is required, and it's hard to be in a space where analysis is completely lacking. When I wanted to do my post about withdrawing my products, I have read articles about how different groups need support in different ways, and that's my behavior, right? If I find indigenous people, heritage people in Trinidad need support in a particular way, I try to organize that support. If I see women need it in a certain way, I try, but there's no data. Getting access to the data is hard.
Those stats, me.
I mean, I have been hunting it down. So in the course I did about the withdrawal of my products, I put data because I was experiencing things a particular way. And I want to make sure that every group in Trinidad gets supported to live a quality life. And in order to live a quality life, we are not coming to the table with the same strengths and the same weaknesses. But you can't say that in Trinidad. Like the
No.
conversation honesty seems to be offensive to people. And so that's a big issue. The other thing is that a few months ago, I went on my year group in school on the WhatsApp, and I said, I think that we had enough, plenty, and that now it's time for us to dedicate the rest of our lives to working on cleaning up the mess we have helped to create. Because we have created environmental destruction, many people working in banks, many people working in manufacturing. I think the group didn't say anything from a one person sent me a really quiet little message on the side of how, because I said, I'm happy to help people think this through. But COVID was a blessing in disguise in that sense. Because people suddenly said, oh, well, that mad Cassandra talk to talking. Doom is there, and the apocalypse, and go food, and things. So, all of a sudden, like, I got COVID for the first time in my life. Now everybody's a gardener. Everybody has their own. Everybody holds food, and everybody gardener.
Yeah, but it's how we doing it though. Everybody I know, I don't know if it's the people I know, however, but everybody I know planting weed. Nobody not planting no
Well, that
food.
was the first thing everybody said.
Everybody,
And it was
okay,
interesting.
wants
Because
to
that's
plant
actually,
weed.
if we had more time, but I'm going to have to go because I have some corn to go and look at
Listen,
that we put down for Corpus Christi. So I have to go up in the bus now. And so, but I
well,
did want
you
to.
rare because Trini's here, apocalypse, and they say everybody quick, apocalypse, plant weed.
But one of the things that I am concerned about is that we are abdicating our responsibility and leaving it up to young people because we're lazy and we are consumers and we want to consume the essence of their
True.
youth energy, and that's disgusting. The work is there for us to do. We have traveled enough time to stay home and put in the hours working on racism, sexism, classism, internalized racism,
Woo.
environmental destruction. We had our time and we made a mess of it. Clean your room.
Ooh,
And we
Juliana,
should not
but
leave
bum
it
bum
up to young
hurting me.
people. Yes, we should not leave it up to young people to take
You're
advantage
jamming
of this
that.
because they are overstimulated. And I want to
Yeah,
say that from them. Like, how are you
yeah.
coping? Like, it's too
No,
much.
they're
It's
stressed
not
out. They're
fair.
stressed out.
It's not
They
fair.
emotionally,
And
yeah.
so if I mess up the room more, I have to clean it. That is called accountability. And
Mm-hmm.
part of that action with the chocolate thing is about accountability.
Yeah.
What am I accountable for? Am I participating in creating a culture of accountability? That
Mm-hmm.
Columbus statue is a particular ambassador that should have kept quiet because
Right.
it's about accountability. Instead of saying, we were wrong, we did things that were wrong, and we want to think of ways to make up. So that's the end of my thing. My theme, how do we hold ourselves accountable without having to make off, don't dodge it, don't dodge it, it's okay. You didn't know better, now you know better. Behave differently, including me all the time. So Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in the bush soon. Farming is not where I am. I'm in the meeting in the bush right now.
Well,
So
we're so out of time. We've gone over time again, I think.
again, we've got over time.
And we really
That's
appreciate
the
your
time.
time, both of you guys. It's been so great having you on and getting your perspective.
I'm really glad that you were able to come on, and I hope that the viewers got some of this really enlightening and inspiring and both and both.
I
I'm
could sit down
grateful.
on a cushion.
Grateful for the book,
Yeah, that was needed.
and thanks for coming on and continue to keep on giving trouble.
Yes.
I really exhort you. Not that you need
Yes.
any exhortation.
Keep
You're
giving
also
trouble.
woman. Thanks for coming on this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. I have to end the thing.
William, come here. Cool. So, as we wrap up, I want to say again thanks to our guests and thanks to Lyrix for coming on rescue. When you let the old people run things, they do
You're just like a couple years older than me, Isma, with that old people thing.
I know. I'm 46, guys.
Why would you say that?
Of my 46 years. Listen. But anyway, interesting things coming up. Soon we're gonna be starting our Pride episode.
Yes.
The first one, and we have some great interviews lined up. So looking forward to that. And in the meantime, we will be here.
Go on YouTube on our Femcom YouTube page. We've actually put there some of our best and favorite episodes of Giving Trouble. So if you want to go back and catch some kicks with the stupidness that Just Lisa and Lyrix, go and like and subscribe on our YouTube page. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to like our Facebook page as well.
And share.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.